Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. So, we're going to get right into this. A lot of folks have been asking me for what do you do in the fall for the 400, 800 group, right? Who might not be running cross country. Or even if they do on occasion, how do you train them in the fall? Because there are differences on how to train them compared to cross country. But for those that know me, I like to incorporate some of the cross country type training in the 400, 800 group because there are high school coaches that do deploy their 4-8 people to run cross country races on occasion to help the team. They might need them to, right? So I want them to, at the very least, be able to put forth a good effort and a decent performance in cross country while at the same time preparing them to transition into track as well. So I'm going to break down a 12-week program for you for the fall. It's now we're midsummer, so this is the time to kind of look over this. Let me know what you're thinking. If anybody has questions along the way, you put it right in the comments and I'll answer them live time. So if you're a runner or a coach, you enjoy this type of content, you find it helpful, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. It's always greatly appreciated. I'll always be available to answer your questions. And my email directly is blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com. Again, I'm going to put this in the comments myself just so you can see it. blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com. Okay. It's in the comments right here. Okay. Yes, black belt running coach at team. I do hold black belts in multiple martial arts. And I happen to be a running coach too. So I just kind of added the two of them to the email address. So that's my email. But let's get right into this, okay? Week 1. And this is provided you've done some type of summer training, right? So it's going to be relatively self-explanatory. Tuesday and Friday is when we test ourselves, right? When we work out. And during this fall season as well, obviously if you have a race you incorporate on the Saturday, you do it as you see fit. I would just not do the Friday workout. Instead, I would do the cross-country race. So, but Tuesday, Friday, I'm doing this consistently throughout the entire fall, okay? And every 4 weeks, I test the athletes to see how ready they are to transition to track. Test them a little bit longer each 4 weeks. And you'll see this along the way. So Monday, we'll go right into this. It's always going to be easy run on Monday. 3 miles, you do some strength and core work, right? And this is the fall. You're starting school again. You want to ease yourself back into the school, the groove of school. So Monday's always an easy day no matter what. No matter who I coach, Monday's always an easy day, okay? Tuesday, you warm up, you do your drills and strides, whatever it might be. Let's just say it's a mile and a half, whatever it is, right? You do 2 times the 200 at threshold pace here. Why at threshold pace? Because if you look at the workout, it's a threshold type of workout, okay? And finding the pace before the workout starts is the whole purpose of the 200. So it puts you 2 steps ahead of the game. So you do 2 times 200 with a 200-meter jog recovery at threshold pace, whatever it might be. Let's just say it's 6 minutes per mile, 5, whatever it might be, okay? That's the pace you're going to run. Then the workout itself is 4 times an 800 with a 1-minute recovery at threshold pace, okay? And then you can take 5 or 6 minutes recovery after the last one, and then 5 times a 50-meter uphill sprints after that with a walk-down recovery if you take a little extra as you need, as you see fit on the bottom. And then you do your cool down, okay? 4 miles easy Wednesday, 3 miles again on Thursday. You notice the volume is not very high here, okay? And nor does it need to be at this point, okay? 3 miles on Thursday. Then you do 30, 40, 50, 60, okay? Just accelerations, turning into a little bit faster towards sprinting. Walk eagle recovery. Okay, just a little bit of turnover work at the end of your 3-mile run. And Friday, again, was a workout. Okay, similar workout, but a different effect on Friday. So now you do your warm-up, your drills and strides, 2 times the 200-meter at 5K pace. If you look at the workout itself, it's 4 times the 800 5K pace, which is faster than threshold pace. So the 200-meter effort is going to be a 5K pace, 200-meter jog recovery, 4 times an 8 with a 3-minute recovery at 5K pace. This is essentially going to serve as VO2 max training, which is more applicable to the 400, 800-meter group than anybody else. Okay, and then on the back end of the 800s, you can do 5 times 100 meters with a 2-minute recovery. Okay, if you need to take 3 minutes, take 3 minutes. Gradually, just progressively faster throughout the hundreds, and then you do your cool down. 5 miles rolling is your long run on Saturday. It's good to do it over rolling hills if you get the opportunity to. You can even accelerate on the uphills if you'd like, or accelerate on the downhills if you'd like. Okay, and off day on Sunday. Every Sunday will be an off day in the fall for the 400, 800 meter group, no matter where you're at. Okay, high school or college. Week 2, same thing on Monday. 3 miles strength and core. You can do strength and core on another day too. You can add a second day or a third day as you see fit. Okay, Tuesday's workout. Okay, warm up, drills and strides. Now, two times the 200 with a jogging recovery at threshold pace, or you can do it at 3K pace since the workout's going to be at 3K pace. Okay, I would encourage you to do a 3K pace, but the threshold 200s can serve as a transition point into the workout itself. But 3K pace will help you find the pace. The workout is 4 times the 600 at 3K pace, okay, with a 3-minute recovery, and then 3 times 100 meter on the uphill afterward. Then you do your cool down. Notice the workouts get progressively faster throughout this 2-week cycle. Okay, 4 miles easy Wednesday, 3 miles on Thursday. Then you do another 30, 40, 50, 60 acceleration. Hopefully you feel a little bit better, and you work on a few things. If you want to work on some of your down starts here, you can work on some of your down starts. You can do flying into it on the start line. It's up to you. Okay, just work on high knees, work on your pumping of your arms. Okay, upright body, slightly forward leaning as well. Just work on your turnover here. And then Friday, okay, you warm up your drills and strides. Now the transition piece here is an 800 meter at tempo pace, just one. Elevate the heart rate. Take a 4-minute recovery. And then the workout itself is 8 times a 200 with a 1-minute recovery at mile pace. Okay? And then you do cool down the back end. This is kind of speed endurance, okay, or strength training for 400, 800 meter runners. Okay? Now you notice we went from threshold to 5K pace to 3K pace to mile pace. It got faster throughout the whole entire cycle, like I was mentioning. But you also have a lot of speed development incorporated in here too, with some of the shorter, faster stuff too. Saturday's 5 miles rolling, Sunday's off. Okay? Week 3, same thing Monday, always easy. Tuesday, warm up, drills and strides. Now this is a broken into piece tempo / speed development all in one. Okay? The idea here is to build towards 20 minutes of tempo running. Okay, this will serve you extremely well later on, especially for those who run the 800, who also run the 4x4 later on in the track meet, who need to have some strength. But this is the time to do it during cross country. Okay, but this is where you can do it without having to feel like you need to go out and run 20 minutes of consecutive tempo running. It's really sensible for the 4-8 group. So I break it up into pieces here. So the workout is you do your warm up, drills and strides, 8 minutes at tempo pace. Take a 1-minute recovery. Then you do a 200. Let's just say mile pace, 1-minute recovery. 6 minutes of tempo pace, 1-minute recovery. Then you do 200, and 1-minute recovery, I should say there. 4 minutes of tempo pace, 1-minute recovery. 200 again, 1-minute recovery. 2 minutes of tempo pace, 1-minute recovery, and then a 200. So all in all, you did 20 minutes of tempo broken up into 4 pieces, as well as 4 times a 200 incorporated in there as well. You can go from mile pace down to 800 meter pace if you like for the 200s, if you feel up to that. If you feel like your athletes can do that. Then you do your cool down. 4 miles easy on Wednesday. Thursday, 3 miles, drills and strides. Again, you're going to repeat that 30, 40, 50, 60 acceleration cycle. Okay. Stay consistent there, but you're going to be progressively getting longer each rep. This is a good way of building strength and building speed at the same time. Okay. Then Friday's workout. Okay. Warm up, drills and strides. You do 2 times a 200 with a 200 meter jog recovery, 4 times an 800 meter rep with a 3-minute recovery at 3K pace. Okay, cool down on the back end. Okay, again, incorporating some cross-country stuff, and this is not even cross-country stuff to a degree. 4 times an 800 3 with a 3-minute recovery at 3K pace is more of a VO2 max, good session for a half miler. Okay, so a lot of this will serve the 800 meter side really, really well, but the speed development will serve the 400 meter side extremely well. So for those that run the 4.8, this again sets you up to get strong during the fall, but also makes you fit enough to hop in a cross-country race if your coach needs you to do that. Okay, then you do cool down on Friday. 5 miles rolling on Saturday, off day Sunday. Now week 4, like I said, every 4 weeks, we're going to test somebody, right? Well, here we go. Easy day Monday, then Tuesday, warm up, drills and strides. You can do a 1K rep at threshold, at tempo pace. Okay, then you take a 4-minute recovery. The workout itself is 6 times a 500 with a 2-minute recovery at mile pace. Take a 4-minute recovery after the last one. Then you do one more 1K rep at tempo pace. Then you do your cool down. So workout in the middle right there is 500-meter repeats at mile pace. That is good strength training for half milers. Okay. To Wednesday, 4 miles easy, and then we're at 5 times 50-meter stride. Then Thursday, just 3 miles easy. Strides are optional if you'd like. Friday, we test. Okay. Warm-up drills and strides, 2 times a 200-meter with a 200-meter jog. The workout itself is 3 times an 800 with a 3-minute recovery at 5K pace. So it's a little bit more gentle on the back end. You take a 10-minute recovery after the last one. Stay loose, stay hydrated, put your spikes on if you'd like. And then we're going to test everybody at 400 meters on the track. See where you're at 4 weeks into the season. Again, this is also provided you did some running over the summer. Okay? I might modify the testing to maybe every 6 weeks if you didn't really put much over the summer. That way you have at least 6 weeks of running behind your belt before you test anything. Okay? But here, I test every 4 weeks because it gives us a good idea of how we're progressing. And again, the test is different every 4 weeks, but that's the test component right here. And if you can do it after a couple 800-meter repeats, your body's warmed up, your body's ready to go, that's a good time to do it. Okay? And whatever you run is whatever you run. Okay? And you can even run the 400 at goal 800-meter pace if you'd like. Okay? Whatever that might be. So if you're looking to break 2 minutes, you want to break 16 at 400. 4 weeks into the fall. Okay? After. And if you could do it after the 800-meter repeats, that's a really good sign of you getting fit. Okay, that's why I purposely put it at the end of the workout instead of the beginning of it. Okay, in the fall. You do your cool down. 5 miles rolling again Saturday, off day Sunday. Now, make a slight modification here. We add a mile to the long run on Saturday, as you can see. We add a mile to the Thursday run. But that's it. Everything else remains the same. Easy day Monday as always. Tuesday, workout day. Warm up, drills, and strides. Okay. 2 times a 200-meter effort with a 200-meter jog recovery at threshold pace. We went back to threshold pace. Now, this is a non-invasive way of getting in a decent amount of volume. Okay, you take a 1-minute recovery, 5 times an 800 at threshold pace, 1-minute recovery after each one. You can even take 4 or 5 minutes after the last one. And then we're going to go back to 7 times 50-meter sprints uphill. Working on attacking, leaning forward, attacking, pumping your arms, high knees. Okay, you walk back down, recovery, you take as much rest as you need on the bottom. And then you cool down. Speed development after the threshold work. Okay. And again, think about when you're running a 400 and your legs tie up in the last 100, right? You're running a 4x4, your legs tie up in the last 100. This is the whole point of these acceleration parts at the end of the workout to get you used to, fighting against the lactic that accumulates in the legs. Okay. Accelerating on the back end. And if you could do it after a workout, it's going to serve you extremely well in the 4 and the 8. Cool down afterward. Wednesday, 4 miles easy, 4 times progression 150, which is 50 float into 50 stride into 50 sprint. Each 50-meter segment gets faster. You're changing gears every 50 meters, okay? Progressively faster. You want to train the body to get progressively faster instead of the other way around, which is what happens a lot in the 400 and even in the 800, okay? Walk equal recovery, take as much rest as you need on the back end. And again, if anybody has any comments, put them in the comment section. If anybody has any questions, put them in the comment section. I'm happy to answer them. 4 miles easy Thursday. Friday, again, workout day. Warm-up, drills, and strides. 2 times the 200 meters with a 200-meter jog at 3K pace now. The workout itself is 5 times the 600, 3-minute recovery at 3K pace. Good VO2 max work for the half mile. And then on the back end, you're going to do a 200, a 150, a 100, and a 50. You can walk back as a recovery. You can jog and walk, whatever you see fit. Okay. The key is I want you to be able to do this after your 600s, which is going to serve as your conditioning for the workout itself, but also fatigue the legs a little bit to the point where you're going to have to really be focused on good form in the 150, 100, and the 50. Again, keep in mind too, you tie up, you want to work on good form. And we've talked about this a lot in the 800 and the 400. This is when the body can really, really start to tie up. So maintaining good form and good posture is so important. Going out evenly, or as even as possible, is important too, instead of going out way too fast, okay, falling apart. That's why I designed the workouts this way. And I use these workouts on a lot of athletes with a lot of success. Okay, and then you do your cool down on the back end. 6 miles rolling on Saturday, that's the longest long run. in this whole entire cycle, 6 miles for the 4-8 group. Again, as a coach, you can see fit. You can add, you can subtract. It's up to you. Off day Sunday. Okay. Week 6, easy Monday as always. Tuesday workout. Warm up drills and strides, 800 meter rep at tempo pace. Take a 4-minute recovery. Then again, we're going to repeat that 6 times a 400 meter workout at mile pace. We'll try to average a little bit faster than last time, or try to recover better than last time too. Okay. Mile pace is a little bit more intense to the legs than 3K pace or 5K pace. This will really, really give you a good chance of feeling lactic to a degree. So again, the workout 6 times a 400, 2-minute recovery at mile pace. Take a 4-minute rest after the last one, and then do another 800 meter rep at tempo pace. Okay, giving you that little extra conditioning on the bookend piece of this, and then the workout itself is track specific, which is going to serve your 800 meter event extremely well. Cool down. 4 miles easy Wednesday, 4 times 100 afterward. Take a walk, equal recovery if you need. Whatever rest you feel is appropriate, you take. Okay, after the 4 miles easy, and then 4 miles easy on Thursday, strength and core. Friday, workout day again. Now, warm up drills and strides. You can do a 1K tempo rep, just one. Elevate the heart rate. These long tempo reps as a transition piece in the beginning helps to elevate the heart rate so you can transition more effectively into the workout itself. The workout itself is 6 times a 200 with a 90-second recovery at your goal 800 meter pace. Okay. If you can get to the point where you can do 8, you do 8. But 6, you want to build towards 8 with a 90-second recovery. So if you're looking to run 2 minutes, you're going to run these in 29 or 30 after the 1K tempo rep. And if you feel up to it, you want to do a 1K tempo rep on the back end. This will also help flush out some of the lactic that you might have in your legs during the workout itself by doing a tempo run on the back end of it. So it's lactate in, lactate out. But it's up to you to decide whether you want to do it or not. Then you cool down. 6 miles rolling on Saturday, off day Sunday. Again, you can attack the uphills or accelerate on the uphills or the downhills on Saturday. But I always encourage you to do rolling hills if you can. It's a great way of building leg strength and aerobic conditioning over the fall without having to run cross-country races. Week 7, 3 miles, always easy day Monday. Workout day Tuesday. Now, this is a slight modification from the time we did it before. Okay, if you look back a few weeks, we did a similar workout, but we've changed components here. Warm-up drills and strides. Now you can do an 8 minutes of tempo pace again, but now you're going to rest 90 seconds. And then you can do a 300-meter rep instead of 200-meter rep in 60 seconds. Okay, then you rest 90 after the 300. 6 minutes of tempo, rest 90. Then you do another 300-meter rep. Rest 90, 4 minutes of tempo, rest 90, 300-meter rep again, rest 90. 2 minutes of tempo, rest 90, and then a 300-meter rep again. So now you have, again, 20 minutes of tempo broken up into 4 pieces and 4 times a 300 instead of 4 times a 200. You can do these at mile pace, and you can even try to work down to 800-meter pace. If you can do your last 300-meter rep at 44:45, if you're looking to break 2 minutes, that's good. That's good. And again, if you could do it after these tempo pieces, this is good too. But this is, again, a good way of accelerating and then putting a little bit of tempo back in the legs, which should feel easy, but it also helps flush out any lactic that you might get in the legs. And now 300 meters, it's easier to put lactic in the legs at over 300 than it is at 200. Okay, then you do your cool down on the back end. Before I go any further, we have a question here. Ash, see what's happening. You're welcome. Your daughter's an under 14 athlete running 300, 800. She's running 800. 210. Wow. She's under 14 and she's running 2. That is impressive, Ashley. That is fantastic. I've worked with a couple of under 15 athletes recently. I had Australian national champion in the 800 meters under 15 for females. And her sister's also very fast. She was 13 years old. Her sister was 12. So that's great work, Ashley. If you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me. We can continue to talk. In the meantime, I'm glad you find this helpful too. Let's get back into this as well. So again, 4 miles easy Wednesday, progression 150s, times 4, against 50 float into 50 stride into 50 sprint. Okay, walk equal recovery. 4 miles easy, strength and core on Thursday, and then workout again Friday. Warm up, drills and strides, 2 times a 200 meter as your transition pace with a 200 meter jog at 3K pace. Then the workout is 6 times a 600 with a 3-minute recovery at 3K pace. Again, the stuff at 3K pace and mile pace is very, very good VO2 max type conditioning for 400, 800 meter runners. That's why you'll see a fair amount of this here. Okay, but the 5K pace and the threshold stuff and the tempo stuff is also going to help, condition them aerobically, so that they do happen to have their coach ask them, if you happen to be a coach and want your athletes to hop in a cross country race just because you need a couple of bodies to fill out a team and whatnot. I totally understand. This sets them up to do that as well. But also the emphasis here is to get them ready for the track season in the winter by doing this stuff in the fall. So then you do your cool down Friday, 6 miles rolling on Saturday, then off day on Sunday. Okay, that is week 7. Now let's go to week 8. Okay, same easy day Monday. Tuesday workout, warm up drills and strides, 2 times a 200 meter. And now you can do either the 2x200 with a 2-minute recovery at mile pace, or you can do a longer rep. Since the workout itself is at mile pace, but it's a little bit longer rep, it's up to you. Okay, the workout is 4 times the 600 with a 3-minute recovery at mile pace, whatever that might be. Okay, so it's a little bit longer rep. 3-minute recovery should be sufficient, but you're doing a 1.5 miles worth of volume at mile pace now, and then you have your cool down on the back end. But you could do two times the 200 in the beginning. You could do an 800 meter rep at tempo, whatever you feel is most appropriate. But the transition piece is always helpful for these types of workouts. Wednesday, 4 miles easy, 6x50 meter uphill. Obviously, you're going to do a cool down on Tuesday too. 6x50 meter uphill now after 4 miles Wednesday. We added 1 rep to the uphills. 4 miles easy and strength and core Thursday. Then Friday, warm up, drills and strides, 2 times the 200, okay, at 5K pace with a 200 meter jog. The workout is 3 times an 800. Remember, it's test day Wednesday, right? On week 8. So 3 times an 800 with a 3-minute recovery at 5K pace, just like we did last time. Take a 10-minute recovery after the last one. Stay hydrated, get loose, put your spikes on if you want to do this on the track. And then we're going to go on the track and we're going to test at 500. Can you run 500? Can you add 100 meters to what you did 4 weeks prior to week 4? Like I said, we're going to use the 800 meter as an example here, right? If you're looking to run 2 minutes, can you run that 400 and 114, 115 now instead of 59, 60, 400? Can you add that? That just gives you an idea of what your trajectory is towards your goal, whatever you're looking to run. And this is without a ton of 800 meter training or 400 meter training. Doing this, sneaking in some speed into the fall aerobic conditioning, okay? And then you do your cool down on the back end. 6 miles rolling Saturday, off day Sunday. Okay, that's second test. The last test will be week 8. Week 12. So now, week 9. Okay, 3 miles easy, always Monday. Workout day Tuesday, warm-up drills and strides. 2 times the 200 meter rep at threshold pace, because the workout itself is 4 times the 1200 meter with a 75-second recovery at threshold pace. So you did 1K reps before at threshold pace or 800 meter reps at threshold pace. All you're doing now is running at the same pace, but you're spending more time in the threshold zone, which is going to improve your VO2 max to make it easier to transition to the more intense stuff later on. Okay? And then on the back end, you're going to do a 50, 100, 150, 100, 50. You're going to go up and down like a little triangle. Walk equal recovery. Okay? And you run these pretty fast. You can run these at 400 meter pace if you'd like. Okay? So there's the speed part on the back end of this. And then you do your cool down. Take the recovery you need. At the very least, walk equal, but you take a little bit more if you need be. Okay? The conditioning workout is the stuff at threshold pace. The speed stuff is the stuff on the back end. And you do cool down. 4 miles easy Wednesday, 6x50 meter flat instead of uphill. Complement the uphill stuff that you've been doing. 4 easy strength and core on Thursday. Friday, workout day again. Okay? Remember, it gets progressively faster throughout some of these cycles, these workouts. So 2 times the 200 meter after your warm-up drills and strides. The 2s are going to be at 5K pace here. Find the pace before the workout starts. The workout is 5 times a K with a 3-minute recovery at 5K pace. Okay? That's the conditioning part of this workout. And then you do your cool down. Then if you notice, we cut a mile from the long run, but we've added a couple down start speed components on the back end of it. Instead of doing it on the back end of the 5K pace workout yesterday, we're going to complement it by doing it on Saturday. So after your long run, 4 times a down start 100s with a 3-minute recovery. You don't necessarily need blocks. If you have blocks, great. If you don't, it's okay. Just going to work on down starting, getting up, kind of reacting to a clap or whatever, if somebody's there to clap. or if somebody has a starting gun. But just going to work on getting up from the down start and working into the beginning part of your drive phase. Okay, that's your speed component. Then you're off day on Sunday. Week 10, 3 miles easy is always Monday, right? Workout day Tuesday, warm up drills and strides. Okay, 2 times to 200 with a 200-meter jog. You can do one at mile pace, you can do one at 800-meter pace, whatever. Because the workout itself, now this is a little bit more track specific, a little bit more touch base with your real conditioning. The workout is 800, 600, 400, 300. The goal is to put what you've done over the first 8 or 9 weeks into a more practical track specific workout. 8643 is a great workout to test where you're really at. 3-minute recovery. You can do the 800-mile pace, the 600-mile pace, the 4 and the 3 800-meter pace. Okay, it's going to really, really give you a good idea of how fit you are. And then you finish up at 4 times 150 with a 4-minute recovery, and that's the workout. Okay, cool down. Wednesday, 4 easy, 3 times 50-meter uphill, and 3 times 50-meter flat. Same 6x50. I just broke it up in half and half. Easy 4 Thursday, strength and core. Workout Friday. Warm-up drills and strides. You do a 1K rep at tempo pace. 4-minute recovery. And then we did those 6 times to 200 before, 90-second recovery, 800-meter pace. Now we're 800. Now we're 8 of them. The goal is to do a mile's worth of volume at 800-meter pace. That's exactly what you're doing here. So now it's 8 times to 200 with a 90-second recovery at your goal 800-meter pace. So if you're looking to run 2 minutes, you want to run these in 29:30. And you should be able to do them relatively comfortably, especially after a tempo rep. Okay, and then you take 4 minutes after the last one, and then try to run another tempo rep on the back end. So that there happens to be any junk in the legs or lactic, you can flush it out a little bit with the tempo rep. Then you do your cool down. Okay, and then Saturday, 5 miles rolling, down start, 30, 40, 50, 60. Shorter and faster accelerations on the back end with a down start. Take a 3-minute recovery after each one. Off day Sunday. Okay, week 11, we're 2 weeks out. This is the fall, so I'm doing a 12-week, essentially cross-country training program. Okay, so essentially, if your cross-country team is running, let's just say states week 11 and regionals week 12 or something like that, you have your other group here in line so that they're competing at the same time with the cross-country folks. And I encourage folks to do as well. If you have a bunch of athletes, your sprinters, your throwers, your jumpers, who aren't going to the cross-country race to cheer on the cross-country folks, maybe they can come out and cheer on your athletes who test every 4 weeks to give them a simulation of a competition environment. Monday's always an easy day. Tuesday, we kind of mixed it up a little bit here too. Instead of the long 8-minute tempo, warm-up drills and strides. Now we're going to start at 6 minutes of tempo, rest 90, we do a 300. Rest 90, 5 minutes of tempo, rest 90. Okay. And then it should be a 300 in there. My apologies. 4 minutes of tempo, rest 90. And you can do 200 after the 4-minute component. Rest 90, 3 minutes of tempo, rest 90, that should say. Do a 150-meter sprint, rest 90. 2 minutes of tempo, rest 90, and then a 150 again. So now you got 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Instead of 8, 6, 4, 2, a little bit different. 6 and 5 is 11, plus 4 is 15, plus 3 is 18, plus 2 is 20. You still have your 20 minutes of tempo, but we kind of broke it up into one more piece, but the longer piece is a little bit shorter. Okay. Then you do your cool down. 4 miles easy and 3 times 100-meter flat with a walking recovery afterward. Okay. Thursday, 4 miles easy, strength and core. Friday, workout day again. Another kind of test the fitness day. Okay. Before you test them on the track next week. So the workout, warm-up drills and strides, 800-meter rep at tempo pace. 4-minute recovery. And the workout itself is 600, 500, 400, 300, 200, 100, and a 50. That's the workout. Take a 6 minutes after the 6, 5 minutes after the 5, 4 minutes after the 4, 3 minutes after the 3, 2 minutes after the 2, and 90 seconds after the 100. And the workout, you get progressively faster. You can even start as close to 800-meter pace as you possibly can with the 600, and you progressively get faster. Okay? That's the workout itself. And there should be sufficient recovery to be able to do the workout and recover. If you need to adjust paces accordingly, you do that. but the rest should likely remain the same. Then you do your workout and you cool down on the back end. Then 5 miles rolling on Saturday, 4 times down start 40 meters. Just short, fast acceleration phase, and you do it after your 5 mile rolling run. Okay, that's going to serve as your long run for the 480 meter group. Off day Sunday. Now, week 12. This is the week right here. This is it. Okay, easy day Monday. Tuesday, warm up, drills and strides, 2 times at 200 at threshold pace with a 200 meter jog recovery. The workout itself, 5 times 600 with a 1 minute recovery at threshold pace. Cutting the volume back a little bit in the workouts. Okay. And then you do 3 times 200 on the back end with a 3 minute recovery. Even if you need to take 4 or 5 minutes after the last threshold rep, you do that. Okay. Then the 3 times 200 on the back end, maybe those are at goal 800 meter pace. Let's just say. Then you do cool down. Then 4 miles easy Wednesday, 3 times 50 meter flat, walk equal recovery. Thursday, 4 miles easy, strength and core. Don't really need to cut the volume back because the volume's not very high. Okay. Then Friday is the final test. Warm up, drills and strides, 2 times at 200 with a 200 meter jog recovery. Again, the same 3 times an 800 meter workout. It's easier to come back and test your fitness after something at 5K pace than it is at 3K pace or mile pace. Okay. 3 minute recovery to still serve as VO2 max work. Then you take a 10-minute recovery after the last one. You go get your spikes, stay hydrated, stay loose. And then we're going to test you at 600 meters on the track. Okay? See how well you do. And going back to the 2 minutes. Can you run a 600 now, 129, 130 without any problems? Or even faster than that? Okay, you don't be surprised if you can run significantly faster than that. Whatever it might be. If you're looking to run 240, you want to break 2 minutes for the 600, right? And so on. If you're looking to run 3 minutes for the 800, you're looking to break 215, and so on. Okay, you test that 600 after those. And again, if you look at week 4, week 8, it's always 3 times an 800 with a 3 minute recovery at 5K pace as a component to set you up, then a 10-minute recovery, and then you test your athletes. We went from testing at 400 in week 4, testing at 500 week 8, now testing at 600 in week 12. And we'll see where you're at. This is a great way to test your high school athletes over the fall. Then you do cool down, and then 5 miles rolling and strides on Saturday to kind of flush out Friday's test, and then your off days on Sunday. So there you go. There's your 12-week cycle. You modify it as you see fit. Okay, this is a great way of putting out a template, putting out a plan that puts yourself or your athletes in a position to be able to run cross country if need be without having to run a bunch of cross country races. Right? I don't expect 400 again. And there are exceptions. Like the kid, there was a kid in my high school when I was running. He was a 200, 400. He ran 22 and 49 as a freshman, right, for the 2 and the 4. And he wound up being our number 2 cross-country runner as a senior. And he also ran 150, 151 in 800. So I was number 1. He was number 2. But just goes to show that he ran some cross-country races. Not all of them when it was appropriate, but it also set himself up well to transition to track. So I wanted to give you a taste of what it looks like. Because you don't need to do 2 cross-country workouts per week, right, to set your athletes up to the 4 and the 8. This is a way of doing it and touching base with their event specialties, especially if they're not racing a lot in cross-country. You can use the races as a workout along the way if you'd like, but that's up to you. So if there's any other questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them right now. Ashley, if you have any more questions, if you're still here. And great job. If whatever your daughter's doing, she's doing well. So, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me. blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com. This is my email address. I will put it on the screen for those that can't see. Okay, that's my direct email address. People email me all the time. I respond to the emails. So I want you to know you have a coach that's available to you. I've competed at these levels. I've coached at these levels. I'm speaking from a lot of experience and 2 decades plus as a coach now. So I want to share my insight with you. I want to share what I've learned with all of you and make myself available to help you as you see, if you need it. So go have a great rest of your weekend, gang. Okay, and have a great week. Next Sunday, we're going to do 800 meters for college, how to train them in the fall. Those folks that might be stepping up to the mile on occasion, also run the 4x4, also run everything in between, 1,000, the 500, 600, and so on. How do you get them ready in the fall? They might run a couple of cross-country races, but how do you test them in the fall? How do you transition their training? It's a little bit different than this. It's a little bit more substantial because they're college and they're training for longer cross-country races. But generally, the 800-meter runners in college also have the ability to step up to the mile or the 1,000 more often than the folks do in college. So I want you to I want to show you the difference. So high school this week, college next. Have a great rest of the day, gang. Talk to you next time.